I just knew that things were going to be fine. Yeah. And so probably shouldn't admit this, but I never even collected my exam results.
Or GCSEs?
Don't know. No idea.
So
not a clue. I was just convinced that things would be fine. And I just had a real sort of everything's going to be lovely feel about life and never felt pressure, never put under pressure, never felt it.
Right. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we are literally, believe it or not, we're in Cumbria, aren't we?
We're just on the outskirts of the Eden Valley in the tropics.
Yeah, and if you can't see, hopefully you can't see, I'm literally dripping in sweat. Like, it's so
Yes, I can testify. There's sweat dripping off his nose.
Oh my God, I'm a sweaty person as it is, but this is taking it to a new level. What temperature do you reckon it is?
I'd say we're at about 26, I think. About 26.
I'm trying to find it on my phone now.
Yeah.
Wait, let me try and see if it says in the weather. Oh no, it's not.
It's probably not helped by the fact that I'm in sequins and I'm dazzling. So the reflection of my jacket and possibly my pants is dazzling back to Adam. And it's my fault.
It says it's 25, 26 degrees.
Oh yeah. Hey.
It feels hotter than this though.
And we've got little cushions, so when we stand up, we're not actually glued to the chair.
Oh, no. Right. So, yeah, very special guest today, Carol. Welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be here.
So what we're going to do is get you to introduce yourself to the viewers and the listeners. If you meet someone for the first time or that kind of thing, a little bit of an intro.
Yeah, I'm Carol Westmorland, and I'm one part of three with my sisters and one of triplets. And I live in Cymru on the outskirts of the Eden Valley. And we are sitting at the paddock that I call my little house in the paddock with the shepherd's hut sat behind us.
Yeah, very nice. Very good intro. Very good intro. So I've prepared you with 3 facts. How did you find doing it? Easy, hard?
Too many things.
So it's narrowing them down. From.
And I think I've got there. And now I'm thinking, what was that third one I was thinking of? So the facts would be that I have cycled 445.41 miles in 24 hours. And I did that for a national championship cycling time trials, won it for the first time I did it, won it, ladies winner, and beat the competition. And my competition was the end-to-end champion who retained that title for easily a couple of decades. She was my competition, so I had a good competition. So it was a good win. And second, do you want another fact?
I was going to say, how did that even come about?
Let's develop. Yeah, so I'm a cyclist, time trialist, and I have time trialed now for coming up 25 years. Dad's a time trialist, still competes. We compete together. He's 79 nearly. And and still really competitive and brilliant. My grandfather was a cyclist, my uncle. So I'm a sort of cyclist. I'm genetically programmed as a cyclist, so I don't need to train. I just jump on a bike and go for it. And I did some 12 hours and won them. And so it appeared that I could just sit on a bike and go and just keep going and keep going.
How many people could do that though? And
just keep going. And so that was my first 12 hour was 240 miles on the first one with no training. And so I did did 5 of those each year and thought, I've got to do 24. Did it and smashed it. It was a day like this.
Really?
So it's good in this weather. I was very good. And you'll hear, so that's Betsy Biscuit, my Tibetan Terrier.
Yeah.
And Crumble is somewhere about Betsy Biscuit. And Truly Scrumptious is coming to say hello, but she has her tongue hanging out, so she'll regret that. Go back in, darling, because you don't look your best there with your tongue out. Good girl.
Yeah, cute dogs. And the second fact then?
Oh, yes. Okay. So the second one would be I've been celebrated in the national press.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was because I'm one of triplets.
Yeah.
And we were celebrated because we all played an instrument in our school orchestra.
Oh, what instrument did you play?
I was violinist. And actually I got to second violinist. And I never got to first violinist because the girl that was first violinist was, and I hope she's not watching, but she was quite a studious type and I never could push her off that chair. So I got to second violinist, but no more.
Oh, nice. I used to play the clarinet at school.
Yeah. Yeah. I blame my violin playing on not being able to sing.
Really?
I can't sing. I'm really bad at singing. And I think it's because I never practiced. practiced. I mean, I don't know whether I'd be any good if I had, but I used to always go in the school orchestra instead.
So what did sisters play then?
So Joanne, they weren't very committed. So Gilly was viola.
Okay.
And various things. Joanne tried lots of different things, and then at one point was on the percussion, so she just flayed around a bit. And
Cushion would be easy.
And she never really she'll hate me for saying this, but she didn't find something she stuck at. But I was more, okay, I'll play the violin, buff, that's it.
That's mine. I'm going to stick at that.
That's my nature.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. And then the third one?
Yeah, now this is the one I was trying, I know, because I had loads. I would say somebody auditioned me to go on Come Dine With Me.
Oh.
And I couldn't go through with it.
Why?
Because I'm a perfectionist, and I decided that, and they asked me so many, and I started deciding that it was too intense. And I couldn't envisage how I'd be able to do it because I'd need to be perfect.
Yeah.
And they were putting me under pressure and trying to do it really quickly. So I ended up having to phone them up and say, I'm sorry, so sorry, but I just can't be your victim on this one.
Oh, what? How recent was that then?
Oh, that wasn't that long ago. Timely. It was when we were here. So I'd say only within the last, say, 6 years.
I was going to say, because they were filming up here, weren't they? And I applied for Come Dine With Me as well.
Applied.
Yeah.
Did
And
they not come and interview you?
yeah, well, I was in Cardiff at the time because I went to uni there
Okay.
and I lived there. But then obviously they were up here. So I was at my mum and dad's house.
Yeah.
And then they came to my house and everything, interviewed me.
Yes.
But they never gave me a final call. So I think I got through to that stage, but they were like, oh, no, he's no good.
Well, I got put forward by I did find out who it was, but someone put me forward. And the next minute I had the call. And then before I knew it, they were on the doorstep with their cameras, as you know, following me around. And they wanted a recipe. And I had to just really fast come up with a recipe. And one of them was Westmorland parking. I've never baked anything like that before, which is quite a complicated fruit cake. But I thought Westmorland, that's what I'll suggest. And everything I'd put on the menu was beyond my abilities.
Yeah.
So that was scary as well.
Yeah, because that's the thing that I'm not really that into cooking. So I think,
No,
I can't remember if I had to cook anything.
I heat.
Yeah, I think I just made like a stir fry or something. And they were like, oh, he's not bothered. But I actually ended up going on dinner date.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that program.
Yeah, that's when I was in Cardiff. And I was being taxied back and forth to Bristol all week
so
and
you
stuff.
did the actual...
The picking and the tasting, yeah.
Did it not go anywhere?
No.
Okay. You see, I like the psychology of that program. I love the psychology of it.
In what way?
Well, I love the fact that when people meet others and how they interact and the impressions they give, says I in my sparkles.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of putting on a show and then having to, in front of camera and be natural in front of a camera.
Yeah.
It must be difficult when you're meeting a stranger in that situation.
Yeah. Because one of my friends, he was on X Factor.
Okay.
And he said to me, oh, you get the red light fear. And I was like, nah, I do videos all the time, I'll be fine. And then went to film like my solo bits and stuff. As soon as it came on, I was like...
Really? Yeah.
And the first time I met the first girl, I was nervous, but then the second and the third was easy. You knew what to expect, but the other ones were. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's a weird, but it's a good experience, I think. Yeah.
I used to go on the radio. I had a little show on the radio called 5 Minutes to Fabulous, and it was an exercise program. So, and I had a great time. And they used to often ask me to go back and for a quiz, for the quizzes.
Okay.
And the last time they asked me to go on the quiz, I didn't have anyone with me, which is not a good idea. So you should have somebody next to you when you're doing the quiz.
Yeah.
And they asked me a maths question. And since I got a bang on the head, because I did get a bang on the head in 2021, I've never been able to add up. And ever since, my dad is really clever. Anyway, and asked me a question. It was the final question. And it was whether I was going to win or not. So I was sailing along and I was going to win. And it was something silly like 5 times 5 plus 1 or something. Yeah. I couldn't answer the question. And they were willing behind. So on the bit that you don't hear, they'll go, come on, Carol. And I couldn't do it. And it was so funny. And I couldn't speak to my dad because I was so embarrassed. And he said, eventually I got the courage. And he said, but Carol, that wasn't maths. It wasn't maths, Carol. It was just like adding up. Yeah. And yes, you did get a freeze. You got brain freeze, completely brain freeze. I lost by a point because I couldn't. But it was ridiculous. So you do lose. You do go a bit daft, don't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's interesting. Maths was probably the only good thing I was good at school, yeah.
Not just watching it. If you bang your head, it can go.
Yeah, I haven't had a bang in the head just yet. I can't blame it on that anyway for my stupidity. So what were you like growing up then? What did you enjoy
We had
doing?
an exclusive little club, the triplets, and we were just very together. So we didn't have that need. My niece, gorgeous Jemima, she's got a huge girlfriend group and they've just come back from a big holiday. But we didn't need that. We had each other. It's not instant best friends, and naturally didn't gravitate toward others. We're very together. We had our own little language. We still have words that we think are correct because we've got words that we think that's how you say it to this day.
But only each of them knows it.
And it's like that. It's a word that that's how we think everyone says it, and then we get corrected. Oh, okay. Nobody didn't know that. And so we're very close and very loving. And it was a really mum, dad, and the three of us. Really tight, really cute.
Because I could never imagine what it was to be like a triplet.
Perfect. Yeah, lovely. And to this day. And so I had yesterday, Joanne was here with her little dog because I groom dogs as my own. And we just have a really, it's a bond that you can't explain. It's like you don't have to say anything. You can laugh without even speaking because you know what we're thinking. That kind of thing. And they're just lovely, lovely sisters.
That's cool. And then what did you want to be then when you were growing up? Was anything in mind?
I just knew that things were going to be fine. And so probably shouldn't admit this, but I never even collected my exam results.
Or GCSEs?
Don't know. No idea.
So
Not a clue. I was just convinced that things would be fine. And I just had a real sort of everything's going to be lovely feel about life and never felt pressure. Never put under pressure, never felt it.
That's good, because I think, especially at 16, a lot of kids are put under pressure.
No,
days, aren't they?
just at first it was just having a good time.
Yeah.
And we really did. And, I look back and I think from about, I don't know, before we should have done, going to the local Carlisle nightclubs and the nightclub managers would come and look after us because they knew we were nice and we're nice. We were welcomed.
Yeah.
And we never got silly. Well, only silly, drinky, not desperate. And they would look out for us, and mum and dad would always collect us. So we were never wandering the streets much. And so as a consequence, we had a great time, and it was very carefree. Yeah. Very carefree.
That's good then, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Because I think, like I was just saying, at 16, teachers and stuff like that, and even parents, quite a lot of them are putting into pressure of like, what do you want to do or what do you want to be?
I might have quite like being, because I did a 50-mile walk, and I kind of, we were asked to do it 2 weeks before it went ahead. And Gilly said and didn't fancy it. And Joanne and I said we would. And Joanne sort of got into a group of girls and stayed with them. And I just marched off on my own, put my, in the day, Walkman on and was listening to Howard Jones. And I just took off and I completely loved it that time alone. And I came first. Out with the girls, and I would have quite liked, and I loved long distance running, and I liked it if someone had said, oh, she's quite good at distance stuff, let's channel that somewhere, because I was clearly a natural at just endurance stuff, singularly minded.
Was like sport and that kind of thing a big part of you growing
hugely
up then?
Individual stuff, not team. I was never a team player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was then?
I'm not sociable in that way. And if someone says join a team, I then will, and then think about how on earth I can get out of it. So if someone makes a plan for me and says, let's do something, I will say yes. And then I'll spend the whole time rearranging it. So it's either my terms or it won't happen. I'm not very good at that. Yeah. And yet I group teach. So I'd sort of expect others to do it. But
that's interesting though. I suppose, like, say if you group teach, but you're the teacher, aren't you? Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
what I mean.
controlling person.
Yeah,
I control.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Say, like, I like about the podcast is like you go into my podcast and I ask you the questions. Like I'm kind of in control of that.
Yeah.
But like you were saying beforehand, you're saying, "Oh, I'm in control of the questions and what I say."
I'm so used to that. When I meet new people in class, if they're from elsewhere, they find me a bit much because I almost interview them. So what are you doing up here? Who are you with? Where are you living? Oh, I know that area because of cycling and so on. And some of them look back off a bit. Oh my God, what does she need to know all this for?
So nosy.
We're here because we've been, secret and no, she needs to know everything. But I'm very inquisitive.
Yeah, I think it's good to be inquisitive.
Northerner.
Yeah. And then, so at 16 then, what was the plan then? Like you said, everything's going to be all right. You didn't pick the GCSEs up. And then what was next?
Well, so then I loved clothes and I loved all that stuff and I was very happy. And I was just having a good time. And I worked in a shop and then, and I liked that. And then out of nowhere, mum and dad said, right, we're heading south. So Dad worked for British Printing Corporation, and he was relocated down just outside a place called Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I know
and we
Milton
were
Keynes,
off.
yeah.
We were off. There.
Okay.
That's where we went. And we were a little bit, Joanne and I were made to go. I mean, this is true. We were made to go.
Forced.
I mean, I had a boyfriend who decided, I'm buying a house and she's going to live there with me. No, I'm not allowed to go. I'm going with my parents. About 18 or something.
It's only a baby, aren't
very sad picture of me holding my teddy, looking very sad, even though I was 18. And off we went and hit the ground running. Really good fun. So we went into a massive health club that had winter gardens, big running track, indoor running track, state-of-the-art American health club. And we wandered in looking very grown up. The manager, who was American, came over and asked what we were doing, wandering around because it hadn't opened. It was about to launch. And we said, well, we're being dragged here by our parents. And this was honestly the first day we'd wandered into this place. We hadn't moved at that point.
Yeah.
And he said, right, girls, what do you want to do here? And we walked in, what do you want to do? And we said, oh, okay, we'll work in here. And he said, yeah, just you say what you'd like to do and you can do it. So we did that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So what did you do then?
I was front of house.
Oh,
Seemed a
nice.
nice thing to do. And Joanne went to the beauty bit. And then we were only there for a few months. We got headhunted because that was commonplace.
Really?
So when you live in the South, you get headhunted. So
That's quite cool, though.
yeah, it's great. And they come and poof and take you away. And so we got headhunted. And I worked for a commercial agent, big commercial agent. I'd already found a future husband at the health club. And then I went to a commercial agent and found my second one. But that's, And Joanne went to the planning, design and development of the place and worked there.
Oh.
So we sort of, that was it. We were just taken away from this rather lovely health club. But by this point, I'd got into the side of it, the dance and things by then.
Yeah. So how did that come about then, the dancing?
Because I was very sporty and for outdoor activities and of course with the cycling and things, but I'd never done anything remotely coordinated. And they said to us that we had to show that we were participating in things. So they said, go in the studio, girls, and have a go at a class. Well, we're absolutely rubbish, to say the least. And I'm really rubbish. So they were, okay, maybe just have a practice when there's no one else around. And so we used to go in. And then my future husband was Danish and we used to go to Denmark a lot. And I properly was bad at aerobic and properly uncoordinated, just not having had any practice. And then we went to Denmark and I thought, I've got to do something while I'm here. So I started taking part in classes in Copenhagen in Danish, and it just really focused my mind. And I would just have to stare at the teacher and I really worked it out. It was the quickest way to learn. And none of my class members could believe it when I would then turn up to do a class and I was getting better and better. And by the time I left there, I was at the front and the teachers were saying, you've got to learn to teach. So I did.
Really?
So I was, from being absolutely rubbish, properly uncoordinated, I became like the star at the front, number 4. That was the best you could be.
Really?
At the front underneath the number 4.
And then, how did you learn then if you couldn't speak Danish?
Oh yeah, I just had to, that thing where you just understand what's coming next. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we used to go to Spain a lot, to Marbella, because Peter's brother lived in Mijas up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And when I went to Spain, I always remember the step classes and she'd be saying something like, I mean, it was over in Spain, whatever that is in Spain, and I'd be focused, and I was so focused because of the class. I wanted to do it. It was exercise in a strange place. So it was such a way to learn. It was brilliant.
Yeah, that's interesting then, isn't it? And then obviously they said you should learn to teach. Why did you want to learn to teach?
Oh, well, I was good.
Yeah. Oh.
I was good at it.
That always helps, doesn't it? When you're good at stuff, you want to do it more, don't you?
Loads of energy. And they said, Carol, you're just so devoted to this. Like everything, I just threw myself at it. And I would spend 3 hours a night doing classes. And because I was really enthusiastic and devoted, really, so I became a teacher. And that was in 1994. Okay. Were you born then?
I was 96, yeah. Before I was born.
94. Yeah. And became a teacher and it was just brilliant. Never looked back.
So was that in Denmark then, or did you?
No, here.
All right, okay.
My teaching, training to begin with for the aerobics and things was in, of all places, Luton.
Oh, yeah.
And then my my Pilates, when I began to do Pilates, that was in the City of London for 2 years in the City of London.
Okay. Did you enjoy living like down there in that area?
I felt anonymous. As soon as I got to the health club, one morning I was asked if I would change into my bathing suit that I just so happened to have with me, which was like luminous pink, quite luminous, but a very plain bathing suit. And unbeknownst to me, they had a photographer going in that day to do a brochure. And I was photographed coming out of the swimming pool, just like holding the, very, very nice. And I was just sideways coming out. And that was the photograph they used for this enormous health club. And I was up in massive backlit things in the centres, all the shopping centres.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Big,
Like the advertising board thing.
Yeah, twice, like this space behind us. But my luminous costume was marginally see-through when they'd lit me up. But anyway, but I still felt anonymous. So although I was kind of everywhere on these huge posters, but I was still anonymous. You know, people didn't know that I was a triplet, which felt really strange. And so every 6 days or so, I'd be home for 4 days. Didn't ever miss home, but I was away for 7 years.
Yeah, it's a long time, isn't it? Especially being away from home at such a young age.
Yes. Yeah.
Because did you find? Do you want to get in there? Did you find it hard being away from your sisters then? Or?
Well, Joanne was still with me at that point because she'd come along with me, and Gilly stayed here to do nurse training. And Gilly was qualifying to become a nurse, and she's only just about to retire, so that was 38 years. So she's just about to retire. And so Joanne was with me, but then she beetled off and left me. I was alone.
It's all kicking off.
I was alone. And I think I've lost track, but I would say I only spent maybe a year, maybe 2 years without them. And I was, as soon as possible, straight back and to Lazenby. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, I want to know a bit more about these advertising boards.
Oh, that was great.
So what did they tell you? Did they just say you needed to bring a swimsuit in and then...
I already had it with me, and it was like, and I'd started work at 6 that morning. Yeah. And if you saw the photo, I've still got the photos, and I'm completely unmade up, not like these days when everyone's all... I was completely natural with my hair pulled back, no makeup, no anything. And I'm just coming out of the swimming pool, slightly head turned to one side. And that was it. And then that was it. The whole of...
What did they say it was going to be?
For a little brochure.
For a little brochure.
For a brochure. But I was all the way through the brochure. I was on a sunbed. I was in the gym. I was in the studio having worked out and all these things. I'd done it. They had me everywhere.
Really?
And then they blew me up to the size of a real person. Backlit me.
That's cool, though. Did you enjoy that then? Or did you get noticed much? Or?
No, I didn't mind a bit. And of course, when I was wandering around because the biggest shopping centre in the country was where I was mostly backlit. And that was quite funny because even then I was quite nonplussed by it. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's me.
It is what it is.
It's me. Yeah, but nobody knows because I'm closed.
So it's just, at that age, you just take it in your stride. Yeah. You really think, oh, this is...
Well, and also we'd been, as a triplet, we'd always been looked at. And even when you're little, we never knew anything else. So people would stare and point, and 3 of them the same. And Mum would always say, yes, Carol's got the round face. And Gilly, that was like normal to us, being sort of stand together. Let me have a look at you.
That's the thing, the triplets are unique. Even I feel like twins these days are
my nephew, I've got twin nephews who are very, very much the same, gorgeous. They're nearly 17, but as a triplet sister, I think they worked out that it was every 11 years locally, and we were natural, and as a consequence it was a novelty. Yeah, it was a novelty.
Yeah, definitely. It's every 11 years in Cumbria.
Yeah, and then I suppose now it's more common with all the IVFs and fertility, but for us it was just, it hadn't happened for a long time. But Mum gave us all ordinary names because she didn't want us to become like novelties.
So what would have been the non-ordinary names then, do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know, like Christabel and something like that.
She's like, it's them triplets with weird names. Yeah.
Straightforward name.
So then what happened after Luton then?
Oh, well, Luton was just a weekend visits for the training. Right. And then, so then I qualified and then I started teaching, and then we came back here, and I straight away had a job teaching and also working at a college, but that wasn't for me. So
that was the first proper job teaching then when you came back up here, yeah?
Yeah, because I felt very intimidated by they were just brilliant teachers down there. They were really high class teachers, and I felt quite happy to be being taught at that point. I was still in that zone. But when I came here, I went to a class locally, and it was really strange. You know those silent discos? Yeah. And it was a bit like a silent disco. I went to a class and there was just this man teaching, shouting and screaming, and nobody else was interacting with the class. All the people were taking part, but nobody was actually speaking or doing anything. Whereas where I'd been all my formative teaching years, you just really got involved. You know, you talked back, people talked to each other, people shouted, people asked questions, you got put on the spot in the class. You know, sometimes the teacher would say, right, over to you. And you'd have to carry on the class. You know,
more interactive and that kind of thing.
And I just thought, I'll never teach a class like this.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely killing me. It's so dull.
Yeah, because I suppose it's one of them things, is you want to make it like an experience, don't you? Something to look forward to, memorable.
Thing, like a social outing. And so my classes are sociable. And if you don't have something to talk about and share, you're the odd one out. It's really sociable.
Yeah, I can imagine. So then you said you worked at a college then?
Oh yeah, that didn't last because somebody skinned some rabbits and put them on the roof near me, and I just couldn't abide that. So I had to call a meeting. He was disciplined. I said, look, this isn't for me. It's agricultural. And I thought, I can't do it. So I left. It was one of the students, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that's normal though.
Up here? Yeah, probably.
Let's go.
So how have the classes kind of developed over time then? I'm interested because, like you said, you've been doing it 30 years now, is it?
They've always been busy, always great, never dull, just entertaining. And then I started breaking bones because I began to race. And the first was really soon, I broke my elbow. And I thought, gosh, heck, my arm was stuck. And everywhere I went,
like that.
And there was sort of like just next on my lovely neck. He's a lovely guy. But he was the surgeon that I was going to. Yeah. And on my notes, and he would admit to this, on my notes it said I was a drama queen because I kept going, look, there's got to be more that can be done. Help me. And anyway, it was really hard to get it better. And I thought there's got to be something I can help myself here. This is rubbish. I just sit and look at this arm that was bent. And then I came across Pilates, a little tiny periodical. Yeah. This guy's dogs shouting back. They're saying,
he's trying to stick up for him, yeah.
Excuse me, can we speak? And so I came across this tiny little paragraph in a health magazine, something, one of the health magazines. And it was about Pilates, and I read it and I thought, oh my God, that's so what I need.
Why? What did it say?
It was just something, a tiny little paragraph, and it just said something along the lines of Pilates is a movement technique that's based from dancers and who were injured and wanted a rehab program. And it was just like that. I thought, oh my gosh, that's completely what I need. Yeah. Just a quick note there. Because I'd been to a physio and they were completely no good. And I thought there's got to be something. So I enrolled with a little bit of trepidation to go to this Pilates Institute in the city. Mm-hmm. Oh, never looked back.
Really?
Never looked back. As soon as I got there, it was fantastic, completely what I needed. So completely what I needed. And it was just complete fit.
In what way? Like Pilates, is Pilates more, well, this is me from somebody who doesn't really know. I think I've done one Pilates class in my life. Is it more like active movements, whereas yoga's more like holding positions?
Yes.
See, yeah, I know. One of my friends lives in...
I'll start asking you questions. Where's your car? What is it?
Oh, here. But no,
it's not.
Oh, don't start asking questions then. One of my friends from Wales, his fiance is like a Pilates coach. Well, Instagram's Pocket Pilates. Oh. And I did a class with her in Marbella. It was like on the beach and stuff. Yeah. So hard,
Should be.
Oh my God. I was like sweating more than I was sweating there.
Yeah. Completely.
It's so hard.
But it's educational. I like it because as soon as I started to practice Pilates, everything was, because it's educational. And I liked, hello?
Shaking his bum.
What would you like? So Pilates is a combination of educational physiotherapy, kinetics, all those sort of things, plus the lovely advantage of benefiting yourself. So it's not like, whereas when you teach in aerobics, you're just diving around, having the best time, but without being too critical, mostly with bad technique. If you've got a bad technique, nobody's critiquing you while you do it.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it, Crumble? And so as a consequence, Pilates is educating, and that suits me. I like the actual physiology of it. So I like to actually understand how the body moves. And when you've injured yourself, I want to know, why is that not doing that? How can I remedy that? How do I fix it? And so that suits me. And plus I love mending people.
Yeah, because that's the thing. At the moment, I've got a bad neck.
Yeah, well, because you're really slouched there. You're sitting in a slouch.
My posture's so bad because...
So you need to bend. Yeah, that's better.
I actually went to the doctors recently because I was in that much agony. I think I had a bit of an illness. I think there was a bug going around, and then I think that kind of like inflamed whatever.
Yeah.
And I think because I sit at my desk all day, or I'm in the car a lot, my posture's so bad. And like even on the podcast when you sat like that, you get like
you kind of bend. You're like a lovely little curve.
Yeah.
So what with Pilates? When
So I
we
need
talk
to sit
about
more like
course,
this.
Now let's turn it entirely. Just like my video about Pilates.
Yeah. Wait. One last thing before you talk about that is what I was going to say. That's the thing when I watch back the podcast. If I'm sat, I will sit like that and sit like back, and I'm thinking I look like I'm literally.
But your natural physique is quite relaxed.
Yeah.
Whereas you can see how I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Like properly stacked.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm standing.
Ooh.
Now, boo, that isn't a good idea. Could you step sideways? Excuse me. That were biscuit bet. Good. Now the sunshines do get involved. There you go. So yeah, so when you with Pilates, it gives you the foundation.
Oh.
Hey, we're having fun. Gives you the foundation to be able to sit properly.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. I think I need to get a sit-stand desk as well.
Well, you just need to train your stabilising muscles.
So which ones are they?
The little ones, the ones that on the whole are sat dormant.
Okay.
I'd say your TAs. Do you know what they are?
No.
Very important to know what they are. If you know what the TAs, transversus abdominis.
Where are they?
They're wrapped around you. They're your inner corset.
Okay.
I'd say yours is a little bit dormant because you're sitting in this sort of relaxed way, which is comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And so if you create your TAs, that gives you that strong inner core. It's your inner core.
That's what I mean.
Like a corset.
It's like here. Because it was like a couple of weeks ago, and then even like getting out of bed in the morning, I was like,
hideous. And you're so young.
I know.
You're so young. And so, yeah, Pilates is all about creating an inner core of strength, stabilizing muscles that just react all the time, you're fired all the time. Whereas when you're relaxed, they don't relax, they support you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if say I sit up like this,
yeah,
it feels like unnatural, but I feel like that would be good for
yeah, you look great as well.
Yeah. So I need to sit like this. Let's see how long this lasts before I slouch back. That's what I mean. Like even like when I'm in the gym and I'd say do something like bent over, my back or my spine is like kind of rounded over that way.
You know, and the interesting thing is, I'll just tie myself back together. So when you're an example of not using your center, you're not using your TA. Imagine a piece of equipment in the gym, a chair. You know, the chair, high back, and you've got your weights.
Yeah.
When you sit on that, how would you sit on that chair?
So I think I would maybe be like a bit forward, like try and round the back and like chest up kind of thing.
Okay.
So you like that, maybe.
So when you round the back, you disengage your TA. As soon as you round your back, so that's what men get trained to do when they lift weights above their head.
Yeah,
they
like
get
chest
to
up.
round their back.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. So it's like that.
Not good. So you have to engage your middle so you're in natural posture. Yeah. And when you're in natural posture, you can't lift anything like the amount of weight that you think you can.
Yeah. It's an ego thing, isn't it?
Borrow, and some people push their back into the actual back of the chair and use that as a help.
Yeah, because I think if I was lying down, I'd like put that bit on and then you'd like round it up like that.
Yeah, you can have. I've taught people that have had really hideous explosions in their abdominals from doing that.
Oh.
Yeah, really grim.
I'll stop doing that. I'll make a good effort.
Stop doing that.
What were we talking about before then? I completely went on a massive tangent.
So we did. So
injuries.
Injuries. Yeah. Yes. So that was the start of elbow broken, and then I would come off, have the head knocked bang on the head, teeth, facial, and so on and so forth. And every single time I've had an injury, Pilates. Completely, well, because of course the classes, and no matter what, I would go to class, no matter whether I was smacked up, teeth missing, whatever it was, I'm here. And I'd always just keep going. And as a consequence, even after general surgeries, I'd be there the next day. I'm here. Yes, I know.
You think Pilates is that good then?
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. Because even if you can only do a little bit, you can do something. So I would do, say, when I had my shoulder reconstruction, and I wasn't allowed to move it for months. But then when I could, it was like tiny little things and those little tiny changes, because I did it every day. Eventually I got there.
Yeah.
And you'd never know. Whereas people that just simply stop doing things when they're injured become fossilized.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. You've got to do something.
It's definitely, I think it is just doing it consistently as well, isn't it? Like however much you can do. Yeah, like you say, if you stop it and say you're saying about my TAs that haven't been working, if I even worked them a little bit, that would make it a big difference, wouldn't it?
A little bit. And when I teach, I get people who are in various states of decay, and they'll come along, and they, even if they just do a little bit more, eventually they suddenly think, oh my gosh, I'm all right. I'm okay. They're just kind of, there are so many people who are walking about in bodies that they're in conflict. And one of the things I used to like to say was, don't have a body that works against you, have one that works with you, because no matter what's going on, knee problems, I've got a knee that's wonky and things like that, but I work with it. So you'd never know. I just manage it.
Yeah, I think, say like my dad especially, he's 62, I think it is, and he had a problem with his knee, and he's never really been to the gym, but he did exercise when he was like young. But then he started doing like 10,000 steps a day, and he started doing like a 20-minute workout every morning and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I've lost weight and I feel really, really good. You know what I mean? From like doing nothing to doing like a little bit. And
he's activating his quad. And as soon as you activate your quad, your knee is supported. So rest, your knee, if you've got a damaged knee, it usually hurts more when it's resting or static.
Because it's stiff, isn't it?
But it just doesn't have support. So as soon as you relax your leg and it hasn't got as soon as you activate your body, boof, fire, everything fires up and it supports just its job.
Yeah.
But if you're relaxed and your leg's relaxed, that's when you should feel the discomfort the most. So people that sort of don't do much, their bodies aren't supported.
I need to do more steps as well. How important do you think steps are?
Well, I walk a lot. So I do like 7-mile walks with happiness. That's to me, I could walk for miles. I love walking on the fells and anywhere and everywhere. But I wouldn't ever, I've got the Garmin and I use Strava and things like that. But I tend not to, I'm interested in my heart rate and in maximising and threshold and all that stuff, just to know I've done my best if I'm racing. But I'm not obsessed with any of that stuff. In fact, I'm private. So if I go out for a run for 7 miles, I don't need anyone to know because I hate the judgment.
Yeah. Oh, you were saying that earlier, weren't you? Yeah.
And even though it's probably great, but I sort of think, well, I did that and I don't need judged. I don't need kudos for that.
I suppose it could be like inspiring other people, be like,
maybe
Carol's done that. Maybe I should get out and do a little run or something like that.
Yeah. I tend to think that everyone's disciplined. I'm so totally disciplined.
Yeah, no one is. I think I am in some aspects, but in other, I'm not. Like I've got this Whoop band. Have you heard of them Whoop bands? So I quite like tracking like my sleep and my heart rate and stuff like that, and my recovery. And it's like just little conscious things. Like obviously it doesn't do anything, but it's.
I understand.
Reminds you to go to bed a bit earlier.
Well, you see, my regime is so strict in that I go to bed at the same time, I get up at the same time, I have the same breakfast, the same lunch, the same afternoon, the same everything, and it doesn't change. And if it does change, I'm completely thrown off my perch, and then I'm capable of like running somebody over because I'm confused. And so my little world is very, very uncomplicated.
I think life is simple though, isn't it? Like for me, I have the same breakfast and the same lunch and the same like snacks, but I probably have a different tea.
Outrageous.
Yeah, so I'm a bit wild in that way, but I just like to keep things simple.
Oh, so completely.
Because I'm quite lazy.
Me too.
I'll have like a protein bar, some yogurts, a couple of sandwiches, like bars and that kind of thing. So and it's like if I have to think less, I make better decisions. So it's just like the routine.
That's right. So I have my shop and I run in and exactly where the things are, and I get the week of all the stuff I want, and I have it for the week, and I chase out. I never dilly-dally, and there are aisles that I would never even gone near because I don't look to see if there's anything new, and I refuse to have any of those loyalty things because I don't need to be told to get that because it's on a not interested.
They are tempting though. They are good discount.
I
think I was, where was I? I was somewhere the other day. I was in town. I was waiting for Yoni, who's my videographer, to come up before we had a shoot. I went to Tesco and I was going to get like a protein shake and a protein bar. If you had a club card, you'd get like £1 off.
Oh, yes.
And I was thinking, hell, I need to get a club card.
I need things to be expensive. The joke is that if the more expensive things are, I'll get them. So if something's got a bigger price tag, then I'm the one that buys that. It needs to be more expensive.
Keep them going.
I can't do cheap stuff. I can't. No. I've got to do things that make me respect them.
Yeah.
But I like a certain food, and once I've got those things, that's it.
So what is your like daily food thing?
Yeah, so every day I have 2 boiled eggs. Doesn't matter whether
We said that before, didn't we? Before the podcast started.
And it doesn't matter whether they're boiled, underdone. I'm not keen on underdone, but it's whatever. They're just fuel. Yeah. 2 boiled eggs. 2 cups of cheese rice, then the 2 boiled eggs, then the coffee. And then for breakfast, leaves, some sort of fish. I was vegan for a long time, but now I will have fish because it's good for you.
Yeah.
And tomatoes, loads of tomatoes, love tomatoes. Yeah. And spinach. And then later on in the day,
so good,
love spinach. And then later in, masses of peanuts. Really? I love it because of the salt.
Okay.
Peanuts. I love peanuts.
I like peanuts, but I have like these little cereal bars with peanuts in.
Yeah.
They're quite good.
Just pure peanuts.
Yeah.
And bananas. So literally unadulterated.
It's interesting you say that you see like food as fuel, which is, I think, I kind of see it as that as well, because some people who are like foodies, and I think they're just stressed, like, what are we having for tea tonight and stuff.
So much to think about.
And you think like, why are you stressing over something so simple?
Mm.
And I even think, like, for me, if you have to think of what clothes to wear in the morning, I like wearing like matching things, so I don't have to think I'm like, I'll just wear this and that.
I have mine all on rails outside in my office in various places, and they're just all railed up, and so I can just see. But I just need everything to be like, that's it. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm eating. And now I can concentrate on energy, whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
I think keep it simple.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is energy, isn't it? You don't want to waste.
No.
Because I've only got a small brain, and if I try and think too much, it stops working. So,
funny story. So last week I was slightly disorientated because we had a little minor crisis, and I was on the phone in the car trying to get out of the car to get something, and I was on the phone, and I think I was talking to my sister, and I kept saying, "Oh, just a minute! I can't find my phone. I can't find the phone." Searching everywhere, I can't find it anywhere. And of course, it was against my ear, and that was a sign of me having only a tiny little blip in my week. Sent me completely daft. Completely daft.
What was your sister saying?
She was completely, I don't even remember because I was so on another planet. I don't know. But it was that. And then a man came out from nowhere, and I was driving. I thought, where did you come from? And so I really don't need little. I can completely go off the rails with the smallest bump.
That's funny. Keeps things interesting, though, I'd imagine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what's like a typical day for you then? Or like during the week? What keeps you busy, out of trouble?
Yeah, so I would do a normal day would be usually, I have a timetable. Yeah. So the timetable is set in stone, and I'm rubbish at making changes there. That's just set in stone. And I always have a walk. When it's like this, I have to get up really early so it's not too hot for them. So I always go a walk. And then cycling. I love cycling. And sleep. I like sleep. Yeah. I always have an afternoon kit.
Oh dear. How long?
20 minutes, bang on. I've done that for decades.
But that's like the optimal time though, isn't it?
And I've done it, and I do, you see, I've done that for decades, probably 30 years, and I'm completely 20 minutes. I just feel everything goes numb. So I sort of close my eye, and my hands go numb, everything goes numb, and I'm completely on another planet, and then back around 20 minutes. And if you have a coffee beforehand, you come around and you're just brilliant.
Yeah, it's meant to be the perfect time, isn't it? It's like that's scientifically proven and everything. I remember I used to do that a lot. 45
minutes before, then you have your 20-minute, and then you wake up and you're just alert.
Yeah.
And it's really refreshing.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I try not to drink caffeine, you see.
I think tea and coffee, but I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol either.
I've never had a takeaway in my life.
Really?
Never have McDonald's or anything like that. And I'm told that McDonald's aren't that unhealthy, but I've never had anything like that.
Really? Oh, I do love a grilled McDonald's wrap.
Really?
Yeah, chicken though.
Never. But there's queues. There's always queues. People like them, don't they? They're not missing my custom.
I try and say it's healthy because it's like grilled chicken instead of getting like the crispy chicken and stuff.
Yeah, but it's grilled.
Yeah, I know. And it's all processed and stuff. So, but yeah, because for me, I started drinking like 3 years ago, alcohol, just focus on work, to be more focused and alert. And then caffeine, because I can get a good night's sleep every night.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like for me personally, I don't need it.
No.
If that makes sense. But I used to drink it like when I was younger and stuff.
I had just one first thing. But if I had a caffeine drink in the afternoon, I wouldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm too up there.
Yeah.
I don't really need it. Like you, I don't need it.
I think it's a habit people get into though, isn't it? It's like, oh, I need to have a coffee, I need to have one to wake up, and then I need to have one in the afternoon, and then need to have one before I go to bed. And you think,
I just often think, I go to class and I think, oh gosh, just calm down. You've got too much energy and I must be irritating. But I actually have too much energy most of the time.
Really? That's not a bad thing, though.
Yeah, I'm not a dopey Dora.
Yeah. No, but I think sleep's so important, but it's underrated.
Sleep.
It's underrated, I think.
Love sleep. 9 o'clock at night, if I can get
9.
If I'm home at 9, I'll be wanting to. I pass out by the time. If we get to about 9:30, I'll have passed out by then because I like to wake up at 5 or 6. I'm always up by 6. Never beyond.
Out of bed. Yeah, because I think, like you say, if you say to people, "Oh, I'll wake up at 5," but then you say, "Oh, you go to bed at like 9." That's still like 9 hours sleep. Anyone can get 9 hours sleep, can't they? But I feel like a lot of people just go to bed 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then they'll try and wake up at like 7, and you think...
Next day, I have a weighted blanket, really heavy, and I get underneath my weighted blanket. So I've got my normal quilt, get under the quilt. Then I have my weighted blanket, really, really heavy weighted blanket. And then I put my arm over the quilt, so my weighted blanket's over the top, and I don't move an inch.
Really?
I wake up in exactly the same place.
How do you manage that?
I know. I wake up completely exactly the same. I haven't tossed and turned because I'm underneath it. I'm completely squat.
You see...
And Trudy's underneath the bed.
You see, my ex-girlfriend, I was with last, used to complain with me all the time.
She tossed and turned and kicked.
I'm such a restless sleeper. So do you think... I did suggest getting one, but I never did. I was like, it won't work.
Oh, I don't. You see, we have...
So that works, do you reckon?
We've got two sort of... The house possibly was 2 cottages at some point. And there's one side mine with the bathroom and room for dressing up and things. And then the other side is my husband's, and he is not... I do not have him down there. And because he kicks about. I don't know. I'm sorry. I actually want to sleep.
Yeah. Because I think, I don't know why I'm a restless sleeper.
Because your head's busy.
Yeah, I think it is.
You need to do calm, not the gym. You need to do calm beforehand. You need to come down to a sort of calm energy and not fizzed up.
Yeah, because I was listening to a podcast before and it was a breathing expert and he was saying you need to do 4 seconds in and then 6 seconds out, and that lowers your heart rate and that helps. But cause I think I'm a mouth breather and that's bad, isn't it?
If I put something in my mouth, I think I'm going to die because I need to breathe out of my mouth. Yeah. It's sort of, if you put something between your teeth and tried to hold it, would you sort of find it a struggle to breathe? Yeah. I feel like I need to breathe, so I must breathe out of my mouth. But when you cycle, you definitely do, because you quite often suction flies in.
Okay.
Definitely open mouth breathe in, but lateral thoracic is Pilates breathe in.
Okay. So
does that sound complicated?
Yeah.
So if I said go now and walk across this paddock in your skimpies, how would you walk?
What do you mean?
Fast or no? So how would you? So if you were walking across this paddock in your skimpy clothes, so your physique was on show, how would you walk? What would your posture be like?
Probably just walk relatively normally.
So you wouldn't put your shoulders back and down, chin up, and sort of
maybe
strut?
Yeah. I think maybe a couple of pounds over I'd like to be, but
and hold your abdominals.
Oh yeah, definitely breathe in a bit. Yeah.
So where do you think thoracic lateral breath is?
In here?
No.
No. I have no idea.
Thoracic. Where's your thoracic?
I don't know. I'm so stupid.
Where's your lateral?
Oh, that's here.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so where's your thoracic, do you suppose?
Is it?
It's where your hands are.
Yeah.
Yes. Thoracic lateral. So thoracic lateral is here. That's your breath. So in Pilates, you breathe wide across your chest. So you can engage your TAs. And if your TAs are engaged, you've got great posture and you look great. And then you walk properly.
Right. That makes sense then.
If this day on, if everyone walked around naked after time, people would not care. So everyone would slouch eventually. But to start with, folk would care. You'd hope they'd care. And they'd not walk around looking dreadful. And they'd kind of hold things in. And if they held things in, they'd all have abdominals that would look great in no time at all. Regressively, people put sloppy clothes on to hide everyone.
Yeah.
And it's
I wore this because it's airy.
and I wore this because it was sparkly. And yeah, so people put sloppy clothes, and when they've got sloppy clothes, they just give up their posture. They give it up. Whereas if you were sitting, you're obviously slim, but if you were sitting there now and you were carrying a bit of weight, I would be looking at rolls, wouldn't I? Because you'd be like just hanging about.
The thing is though, if I tightened it, I'm all right, but it's just because I thought it was going to be sweaty. Yeah. I wouldn't mind, like when I go to the gym, I'd wear like a vest.
I'd put this on and it's clearly overdressing for a hot day.
Yeah, but you're on a podcast though.
Yeah.
Special occasion.
Are you not on this then?
Yeah, I am. This is your podcast though. You're the guys. You're making me look stupid though. Right, so where were we at with your day to day then? I can't even remember where we were.
Well, that's it. It's very uncomplicated, very simple, that's uncomplicated. Cool. I don't add extras in there. I don't want complicated days. I don't want conflict. I don't want anything really that's disruptive. I want a nice, quiet life. Hence my shepherd's hut.
Stress-free, yeah. Because we met, didn't we, at Tracy's Lady at lunch. So, first of all, what did you think of the talk?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah. And I think the audience really need that information because when you get to this age, you're either quite familiar with IT and tech or you've completely turned your back and you don't want to know. So you can either be completely one way or the other. And I think a lot of people are fearful of it. And they haven't the first idea how to launch.
Yeah, because that was the thing, especially with the talk, like you said earlier about your classes, is I wanted to make it interactive, you know what I mean? Like asking questions and stuff and back and forth, because I wouldn't want to just be like talking at people and them like zone out and be like,
yes,
what the hell's he on about kind of thing. And
that's right.
I think that's important, isn't it? To like stimulate them mentally and stuff.
On the spot,
yeah. And you were saying about, you felt like if you put stuff out, other people would judge you and stuff, weren't you?
And I think that's probably from being a triplet. Because we used to get, we had curly hair, so that was permed. We had tans, so it was fake. That sort of thing. And so we were always told whatever we had naturally was clearly not, even it was.
Yeah.
And so as a consequence of that, I'm used to being judged incorrectly. And so the thought of putting something out there like my videos, I don't want to know. So I think you can ask on Vimeo, you can ask for comments, but I don't want to know. And so it's kind of that thing where how much do you want to put out there? And listen, how much do you want to know? Or and where do you want to be? Do you want to, because I would hate to be an antagonist. I know a boyfriend of mine in my teens is now a female journalist.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I know. But when
did you turn him that way? Or?
I think so. And when he was a man, he was quite a gentle, easygoing character, but journalist and presenter. And then now he's a female. He's very angry, very cross with everything, and everything's just the world's against her. Everything's bad, and I would never wish to come across as somebody that's just cross. And angry. So I don't tend to opinionate. Even when you get to this age, you do think you know everything. You think you know better than everybody. And it's really hard not to critique things because you feel that you know better.
Yeah, I think it's a funny world, isn't it, these days, especially with like social media. Everyone can have an opinion, can't they? If it's valid. That's another complete topic entirely, isn't it, really?
It's very difficult, and you're always you're always going to potentially offend somebody. But on the other hand, there's that platform where you are actually setting yourself up, aren't you? You are. I love Strava. You'll use Strava. And that's just all good. Nobody goes on there and criticizes.
Yeah, like, oh, that's a terrible run or a terrible cycle. Yeah.
Just say, and they'll not even look. And so if you were doing, I don't know, if you'd cycle for 10 miles an hour, still,
go you.
And they haven't looked to see what you actually did. But that's not the same on either ones.
No. We were saying earlier, weren't we? It's like the negative comments, they go out their way to spend time consuming that content to then post something negative. And you just think, how can you be bothered? You've got nothing better going on in your time, especially when you're trying to put out something to be helpful or informative or educational to try and help them people. But I think that's the thing with social media. It depends how you want to look at it and how you want to use it. Like if you're trying to use it for good and to help people. If you can help one person,
yeah, I'd
then
love
it's
to help
important.
more people. And I would love to help people understand how to have simple lives.
Yeah.
More simple and things like that. But I always assume that people are happy as they are and they don't need the guidance. But actually, even with the cycling, doing the distance cycling, I, of course, had formulas, little marginal gains, little things that I knew what to do to make it easier for me. And nobody ever coached me. I just did it and practiced it. And those little things, but you just don't want to come across as a know-it-all.
No, I think it's how you position it though, isn't it, really? And how you say it, because it's like you say, it's all about the marginal gains, because to go from 0 to 100 or you to climb to the top of a ladder in one goes, it's difficult, isn't it? But if you take it that one step or that 1% at a time, it's a lot easier manageable.
And it is manageable, and there is so much people can achieve. And there's some lovely there's great talent out there, unfulfilled or unrealized talent. And then there's some really rubbish folk out there practicing things, and they're rubbish, but they get by. I know a lot of businesses that are open going in the lakes, and you can make a fortune out of ice cream selling. I mean, a fortune. And I love that idea that you can do a simple thing and make a lot of money. Yeah. I think that's great. But I also think it's nice to share experiences. Yeah. And for me, it's about your body and fixing it and not living with it. Yeah. Not living with it.
Because I think people do, like you say, want to help people live more simple lives. I think people do overcomplicate life, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Life is simple, isn't it?
They have children. I don't have children.
I don't have children, no.
And I think that's complicated. I think that does complicate life.
Yeah, because then you're not the number one priority.
No, I've nenever had that. I've never been. Yeah. I've always lived this little childish life. My house is quite childlike. I think possibly I've never grown up, and I'm starting to realise this more and more. And when they came around to take the photographs on Monday, I was thinking, oh my God, I've got loads of like toys and teddies. Oh, move them out the way. And so I think my ethos in life is happy, fun, and just that way. And maybe I would have grown up if I'd had to be responsible. Yeah. But the girls, the sunshines are my responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like the common misconception these days is like, you have to, well, say like you go to school or uni, whatever, you get a job, then you have to find a partner, then you have to have kids, you have to have a house, and then that defines being happy. But you can be happy in whatever you want to do.
And you can also, so say if you've got a particular quirk, and it could be that you only eat 3-4 foodstuffs and you have this discipline, but you can channel it. So like me, cycling for long distances. So you can channel your peculiarity if you're given the chance. So instead of being changed to somebody, oh gosh, right, that person needs change. Instead of trying to change somebody, you should be able to celebrate their individuality. Yeah. And I don't know whether that happens now. No. I don't know whether it does, but you should channel it.
Yeah, like everyone's weird in their own little way, aren't they? And I think, say like my last relationship, it was more like, obviously you should want to change, shouldn't you, maybe for the other person and stuff, but you shouldn't force the other person to change, should you? They shouldn't be able to change so much.
You should never morph into each other.
No.
I believe that absolutely you should be individual. Nobody's ever tried to change me oddly. And I would be hopeless to be changed. You've got to be your own person. And it's lovely if you can think you're in a relationship and you realise that you're still you and you haven't had to conform. Yeah. So if somebody said to me, right, you've got to live in a neutral house, everything's got to be
white and beige.
Yeah. Oh my God, I would just so shrivel up. I'd shrivel up. And I haven't got that. And my house is completely mad and colourful and gorgeous. And that's just because I'm allowed to be me. Yeah. You know?
That's what I mean. It should be celebrated, shouldn't it? You know what I mean?
So much so. And the person you're with, they should choose you for you because they want that.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to live with somebody that likes colour, they need to move to the neutral person and move on. And that's what should happen. But the chemistry thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you lot get that now because of the internet, but in the old days,
in the old days, people met each other. Yeah. And you would actually brush past somebody and there'd be chemistry. Have you ever known that? Well, my last girlfriend, we met on Instagram.
Okay.
And that obviously didn't end very well. The one before that was in person. We were at university.
And there was chemistry.
Yeah, more than the last one, I think. Yeah, definitely.
You'd know.
Yeah.
And chemistry is like a proper, there's a chemistry there that makes you want to be with that person.
Yeah.
And
it's
it
funny
can't
to say
happen.
that. Sorry, I was going to say, yeah, the last girl I was like speaking to, seeing for a little bit, there wasn't that chemistry, you know what I mean? But we did kind of meet in person. It was like organic, but when you know, don't you? You can tell straight
And when
away.
you watch that program that you were on,
Dinner date.
oh my gosh! And you can, if there's a chemistry, the people, the body language is there, and it's all very relaxed, and that's natural. And in life, when you get older, in about how many years? How old?
27.
So in about 25 years, you might have met 4 people that there's a chemistry with. That's it.
Yeah.
In a handful, and maybe 5. Handful.
Hopefully.
I've missed a finger. I've got one finger missed over there. And that's the story.
Oh.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'd like to get the surgeon that did that didn't ever fix my finger, tattooed on my little finger, her name, but never mind. But yes, so you meet only a very small number of people that you can genuinely say you've got a chemistry with.
Yeah, because I think I've probably had a girlfriend at school when I was like 17, 18, then one at uni, and then one recently.
Yeah.
But they're all very different now, aren't they?
Yeah. You need to, you would know. You see, the thing is with your job, a lot of people meet in workplaces.
Yeah, I don't meet anyone.
Yeah, that's a struggle, isn't it? Okay. That's why it went on telly.
No, that's the thing. Like, say at uni, you meet those people, don't you, and stuff like that, which is good. I think the university girlfriend, I shouldn't be saying this, but probably the best one, like most compatible. You know what I mean? Whereas like now, like you say,
Where did you go to uni?
Cardiff.
Oh yeah.
She was Welsh / Malaysian, but yeah, like now it is a lot harder to meet people.
And also, if you meet people who are out, if they're out, festivals, whatever, and they're inebriated, that's not the same either.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I don't drink now as well.
You need them in their true colours.
Yeah, and
cold sober.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd probably meet my partner on a night out now, because that's not really, like, don't get me wrong, I still go out, but I don't drink and get like smashed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't have a workplace. Difficult. Anyway, it's not about my relationship troubles. Let's talk about your finger.
Yeah, so that was wonky. And it was going to get, and it never got fixed. And now I have a very interesting shaped hand.
Oh, yeah.
It just sits like that.
It doesn't move at all?
No. And I recently hurt this hand because I was doing too much gardening. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
And that went wrong. There's something that went wrong there. And it had to have, and have you ever had a steroid? I would never have believed it possible. So I had a hand that didn't move properly. I mean, really hard. Really? And if someone even went there, I just jumped, properly leapt in the air and spun on the spot. It was properly painful. And I ended up begging for a steroid. And I went to the chap at Newcastle and they did a scan. And at the same time as the scan, they did the steroid. Oh my gosh. It was agony. I screamed, properly screamed, but it worked.
What kind of steroid was it then?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
just know like the bodybuilder ones and
I know,
stuff.
I did think, would I be fast on the bike today? But it was just brilliant and it's worked and it's fixed. That.
Oh, that's cool.
But this finger, it's now 10 years and it's never felt a thing.
Really?
Since it was...
That's mad.
Detached from the rest of my hand.
So you're just going to try and find the surgeon though? The
surgeon that did it wasn't a hand specialist, they were a hip specialist. But next door guy, lovely guy that was supposed to be at the elbow, he was retired, gagged from the hospital because he'd spoken up. And as a consequence, he was removed and he wasn't on duty and the other girl was. And she tried to do it, failed miserably.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. So what have you got planned then in the pipeline moving forward in the near future?
Gosh, do you know, my life is fairly content.
Yeah.
And I think,
that's what you want though, isn't it?
I know, my life, if things carried on like now, if nothing ever changed, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Health, family health, the girls, the dogs, the cats, everything is just lovely. But I like that. I sort of have this rose-tinted view of the world. Mum and Dad, they were just great because they gave us such stability growing up. And Dad was went to work, very good, strong work ethic. retired young, but all the same was very good example of just going to work.
Yeah.
Mum stayed at home and we had our cup of tea and a scone when we get back from school, tea to get us up in the morning, and that sort of lovely routine.
Yeah.
And and we were all made to feel very conscious of other people and doing the right thing and being nice. And all of that was just lovely. And as a consequence, I sort of have a rather a happy view on the world.
Yeah.
And I'd like that to continue.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's good though. I think like being content, a lot of people aren't. They always want more and they're never really satisfied. And it's like,
your home should be where you're happiest. And I feel that no matter where you are, you should make that where you're content and safe and happy. And I don't have that urge to escape. You know, I'm not sort of always thinking, where I need to go on holiday. I'm like that because I don't really go on holiday.
Yeah.
Because I like to be here and the girls, and I don't want to, they've never gone into a kennel.
Never?
No. Oh. They would be very, very cross if they were sent into kennel. Look, we've got one down here.
That's the one thing that I think about alcohol. That obviously not for everyone because people do enjoy it and stuff, but a lot of people will work like the Monday to Friday and then go out and get absolutely smashed just to forget and escape. I could use it as escapism and escape reality and stuff like that. Like for me personally, I'm content-ish with my life, so like I don't need to escape that.
You've molded it and you've crafted it into a job you love. It's not really a job.
Yeah,
it's your
lifestyle,
passion.
really. Yeah,
and that's what I'm like. And so my job is me enjoy. I often laugh at class and say we're going to do quite a bit down next because you know it's all about me, and it's a lovely social thing, and that's my work. It's not work. And this isn't this is just a pleasure. It's a joy. And that's how life should be. Just try and make it great. Because we don't know what's around the corner.
Nah.
Live it and don't strive and don't be too materialistic. I think materialism, I know people who I have met along the way who have too much money and that makes them very comfortable because they're always thinking we should be bigger and better and showing off things and chartering whatever and better car and they're just always ill at ease because they're trying to big up
themselves as well, isn't it? They're trying to outdo themselves.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's exhausting. And they have staff. They don't have anything to do because they have people to do the cooking, the gardening and all of those jobs and they haven't really got anything to do apart from spend money. Yeah. Actually, it's very empty.
They're like having no purpose, isn't it, kind of thing, really?
If someone said, okay, you can have the latest electric Mini Countryman, that would be great. I'd love it. I'd really welcome that. I'd very much like that. But I'm not going to strive for things like that. I'm just happy and relaxed.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, material things are nice, aren't they? But then you just get used to it, don't you? And you just, after a couple of weeks and you think, oh, I've got the electric Mini.
Yeah.
What should I get next?
It's relative. It's completely relative, isn't it? And if you're always trying to compete, and then saying that the ones that genuinely have the lifestyles that allow them to have a good please themselves attitude usually have an old banger because they have nothing to prove.
Yeah, they're not bothered.
Yeah, it's funny. It's very interesting. I love all that psychology of folk. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because like even like my dad, he isn't bothered about cars. He's going to retire. I think in March, like in the tax year or whatever. And he's had a company car all his life. And there's a decent one, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'll be intrigued to see when he actually has to pay for a car, what car he'll have. And I can guarantee it'll be terrible.
That's right. My dad's like, so dad's got a car that takes the bikes. As long as it can get the bike stood up in the back, he's happy. And he always used to say to me, oh, just get a Berlingo. And I'd be like, whatever they call it. And I'd be, I'm not sure about that. So I sort of settled on a Mini that does have flat and opens at the back. But yeah, he's not in the least bit. Not the least bit.
There's more to life, isn't there?
Oh, huge. But you can have freedom as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you sort of have a lifestyle that is within your, you can afford it, then you're free.
Yeah. And like you're saying that, people who are maybe jealous or envious of people who have money, they're not really envious of that. I think they're envious of like freedom, isn't it? Like being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, within reason, obviously. Obviously, you have to do some kind of thing. That's the thing for me. Like, I'm relatively free with what I do. I can kind of do what I want within reason. Obviously, I've still got like clients to answer to and work to do and stuff. But say like next month, hopefully, I'll just go to Marbella and see my friend for a couple of weeks.
That's it.
Because I can do
You
that.
work for yourself. I've never actually worked for anybody for 23 years. Just for myself.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
23 years. And I don't think I'd be employable now. Because I really would rather just please myself.
That's what I mean, though. Like, even me now, I've only been doing it like 4 years and stuff, but I don't know, I just couldn't imagine doing it.
Well, also, if you're working for somebody else, you're giving your talent to somebody else. You're giving your talent. But then on the flip side, there are businesses, and I know of these businesses, that are all front. So you see what looks like a fantastic business, and to all intents, it's a great business, but it's got no profit at all. And the person that's running it is just about surviving. But if all their debts were paid, they'd have nothing. So there's a lot of businesses like that. Yeah. And they're very flash, and they have all the premises and staff and all that and the name and everything like that, but it's not really a business, because if that business stopped being, if suddenly the customers stopped, they'd have nothing. Yeah,
or like COVID happened again. It's like the hamster wheel, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's keeping going round and round and round, and as soon as it stops.
Exactly, that's right. That's right. Don't want that. I'm a little bit risk averse.
Yeah. So, biggest mistake, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I think probably my biggest mistake, if it is such a thing, is always putting my classes first. So even if there was a bereavement in the family, I would go to that class that night, not say anything, and just keep presenting. I think I'd look back at that and think that's not right. Maybe I wouldn't do that again, because I think there's a time when you should respect your time, your space, your feelings. And I've always just thought, oh gosh, no, I can't let them down. I can't let them down. I'll just go ahead and keep going. And then after COVID, lots of people vanished, literally vaporized. And you think, gosh, those people that I probably saw that particular day, whatever, I haven't seen them. So what do I do that for? Why did I do that? They didn't know. And I went there, I should have stayed at home. And so probably that's a mistake. That's like not to do anymore.
Yeah. That's an interesting
Put
one.
myself first.
Yeah. Because like, people are understanding as well, aren't they? Like you said.
Yeah, I'm very private. And so I would never, if something happened that I wouldn't share, I would always keep it to myself. I'm not a oversharer. Don't overshare. And so if I was suffering a bereavement, I would just want to stay quiet, so that I don't have to talk about it. Yeah. But I definitely think I'd rather say I'm not actually going to then put on an entertaining show when underneath I'm not feeling it, which I think I've done. Yeah. Done that. And somebody said to me, just be superficial. Just carry on and be superficial, chin up. And I did. And I think I didn't want to do that.
It's not really you.
No, and I think I won't do that again. So that's probably a mistake. That's a mistake I'd like not to repeat.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. And then greatest strength and greatest weakness.
The strength has to be discipline, and I'd say the weakness would be trying to be a perfectionist, really, and trying to not feeling comfortable. I wouldn't like somebody to just knock on the door and wander in. I'd need, even though everything has its place, I don't like the idea of being caught
off guard.
I need, like the postman who actually lives in the village. He came over yesterday and I was dressed as a moose.
A moose?
In my moose onesie.
That's cool. And caught you off guard, definitely there.
I was in my moose outfit. And I didn't know it was coming. And it was because there was some flowers getting delivered. And hello, Carol. And and it was like this hot, but a little bit of rain. So I had gone in and I was dressed as a moose. And I just thought, oh, that was a bit regrettable. Just that kind of thing. Yeah.
But surely perfectionist can be a strength as well, though, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so when I have these open things where people come over, oh my gosh, I can't do enough around about everything. I've thought of everything until I can relax. And then I don't mind what happens. But it's that thing where I don't want somebody to go in and think, gosh, did you see she had dishes in the sink? Or, gosh, look at that. She actually had...
It was even like the pillow was like there, wasn't it?
It was in the way, wasn't it? Yeah. And we've probably got flowers that are off the best, but it's that sort of thing where I think everyone lives this perfect world. I honestly think I meet somebody and I genuinely think they live in a perfect house with perfect husband, whatever, perfect everything in there. Everything's perfect. And then sometimes I meet it. What? I think everyone lives like that.
Oh, nah. It's even like, if I ever watch my podcast back, I sometimes think, people must think I've got it all figured out. But I'm like, I've definitely not got it all figured out. Even when they've probably watched this, probably think they've both got it completely figured out. You've all still got your own problems and issues and troubles, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's weird, the perception that you have, especially like on social media and stuff these days. And you think like people are going to leave dishes in the sink or dishes in the dishwasher or dirty clothes or clean clothes here and there.
Yeah.
And it's just life, isn't it? But it's funny how you think everything has to be perfect. So people think, they've got their shit together.
Tidy. Yeah, I just think tidy. I like order. I think it's like I like order, but I'm a maximalist. So I like maximum. Everything's got to be full on maximum in the house. Just everything's covered in something. But I don't like the idea that, you see, like my sister popped over unexpectedly with her husband and I had the fire on and it was lovely. And I just thought, oh gosh, that was good. The fire was on. It looked as though, and I was really happy that I'd done that. Or when they came to take the photographs, the day before, I'd actually done the back here with the lawn, and I hadn't really thought that they'd take photographs. And I'd gone to that far left where it's quite dangerous, dangerous territory. And I was, I'm going to be okay. Hold it together. And I did it on. And then they came the next day and took photos. And I keep pinching myself. That lawn was stripy.
Oh.
And it could end up in that magazine, Stripy Lawn. And that to me is just thrilling. Yeah. That's a thrill.
Oh, that's
for me. I'm very, very easily pleased.
Yeah. So little things, though, isn't it? Little things in life.
Little things are huge, yeah. Little things. A stripy lawn. And I got into that corner and it didn't look like it did the week before when I didn't get to the corner and I hadn't planned it.
I say it's the simple things, isn't it?
My God.
Life is simple.
I am so simple.
That's cool. So, Carol, where can people find you? Follow you, do your classes?
Well, I do. I mean, I have my videos. So I have a website, pilates-cumbria.uk. And on there you can watch video weekly. I call it's like the Blockbuster thing. You won't remember Blockbuster.
Yeah, I do briefly.
Where you did a weekly hire of a video.
Yeah.
And you paid a week and then you took it back. Well, my videos, you book them online, pay £8 for a booking online, get a password sent to your email, and then you watch them as much as you want all week. So you have like restorative, which is 20 minutes, revitalize, which is 45, or a rejuvenation, which is about 5 minutes, just blast of work. And then, so people can do those. I have Facebook, I have Instagram. I don't realize, but I think Facebook links to Instagram. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't really do anything there. It just seems to happen.
Post, yeah.
And all the rest of it, Strava and things. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe.
Have you been live?
No. Okay, it's going to be edited anyway.
Oh,
if you've said anything bad, we can edit it out.
All that
Don't
swearing.
worry. Yeah, all that swearing. Comment your favourite part. Any questions for Carol, leave in the comment section. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.